Okay, mic check 1, mic check 2. Position's good.
Hola.
Is it good? Real good?
All good.
All good now? Are you recording now? All right, fucking live. All right. Welcome to the Dirtbag Chronicles. My name's Bryan. I'm your host. This is episode 5, and we have another exciting guest today. His name is Nate. He has been in recovery for some time now. He's got several years behind him. He's a sponsor, right? So how many sponsees do you have?
That's hard to say.
All right.
Yeah, it's hard to say because only so many people call me and do what they're supposed to do.
I understand. That's how you got to work it, right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and let you kind of introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why it's so important to carry this message out.
Well, my name's Nathan. I'm in recovery. I don't have exactly several years clean.
Okay.
I should. I got almost 2.5 years.
Okay.
Coming up on 2 years, 5 months. It's just important for me to carry the message, because for one, we can't keep what we have unless we give it away.
Right.
It gets me out of myself because the core of the disease is self-obsession, self-centeredness, and selfishness, So it's important to me to give back what was so freely given to me.
Yeah.
Because there's been plenty of times where I was in treatment or other places, locked up. And, there were people from the outside that would come in and bring these meetings, and it gave me hope, So I do want to give that hope back to those that are in those kinds of situations, like I try to live and breathe this program, each and every day, because this is just for today. There's not a single day that goes by where I don't keep my recovery first and foremost, because I don't ever want to go back to the life that I used to live. I've been in and out of NA, AA, doesn't matter. I've been in and out since I was 21 years old. First time I went to treatment was 19 years old when I was in the military, and that was my first introduction to the 12 steps. But
What branch of military were you in?
Marine Corps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. So what you said that your recovery is like a part of your everyday, but was it hard to start that kind of routine to adapt to all of that and bring that into your life? Or would you say it was an easy transition?
well, I was motivated, to do something different, Like I was so fed up and sick of living the way that I've lived.
Yeah.
Like my prior experience in the program, it gave me that knowledge and experience that I knew what to do. So whenever I got out of jail, because I got clean in jail this time.
How long in jail were you?
90 days. I had to do a 90-day parole violation.
Okay.
So I knew what to do. So like, I just did everything that I knew to do, which is like prayer, meditation, getting a sponsor, working steps, reading literature, picking up the phone, calling people, like building a support network.
Yeah.
I just do these things each and every day.
Yeah. The support network is probably the key. It's just being able to like reach out to somebody and talk to them, even when I'm experiencing that right now, like being able to call somebody and just talk to them about me, and that's I think that is like huge because I've never really understood that until I started doing it. I was like, well, fuck, man, I can't even call my mom every day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard for me to pick up the phone. But then once I started doing it, like it's holding myself accountable and someone else holding me accountable. And like by doing that, by reaching out, what it does is like, okay, I have to talk about this. And it's shit like that I wouldn't even think about talking about until I'm on the phone and in that conversation. But that support group, it's big because the people you surround yourself with are the people is the person you become, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. How old were you when you first started noticing an addiction?
For sure, probably about 15 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, that was when I started taking pain pills.
Okay. So that the opiates was the opening to your
officially,
your
yeah.
dirtbag bullshit.
I mean, like I started messing around with substances like alcohol, pot, all that around 12. And, you know, I wouldn't say it exactly became a problem until I was like 15 and started taking pain pills. And I realized it was a problem because of the amount, the frequency, how I felt whenever I didn't have any.
Yeah.
And what I was willing to do to stay high. So,
yeah. So when you said the way you felt when you didn't have them, and I've noticed a lot of other people's stories too. Like, so when you were coming off of them and were having withdrawals, did you just think you were like, didn't feel good, or did you know that it was dope sick?
I felt like I couldn't feel good, or I couldn't feel any kind of pleasure. All I could think about, man, was getting high, you know.
Yeah.
There was like, I couldn't get any relief or nothing, man, until I had something in me. And then I felt normal, you know what I mean? And that's what that gave me is, you know, like I never felt normal my entire life, but you know, like whenever I was high, you know, all those insecurities, all that fear and shit, it just kind of, it went away. You know, it was the feel. Like I remember the first time I took pain pills, you know, I found a bottle of hydrocodone on my dad's table beside his bed. And I looked at this bottle and I recognized what it was. And I knew that it would get you fucked up. I don't know how I knew that. I don't remember, but I took like 2 of these things, and I just remember like going and walking my dogs, and they kicked in, and I thought it was the best feeling in the fucking world. Like it was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it was the best feeling, man.
Yeah.
And and as soon as I got back in the house, I went and got some more, you know.
Okay.
And from that point on, man, like I went to some crazy lengths, you know, like as a teenager, you know, I would steal pills from my dad, from my friend's mom. You know, like she had tons and tons and tons of pain pills. It was oxycodone with the Tylenol. Trying to think of what that's called.
Yeah. Shit, I don't even know. I couldn't.
But Percocet,
Okay.
yeah. And then she had these fentanyl patches, and you know, like I would literally, you know, I would sneak into my dad's room or her room whenever I was at my friend's house, and I would check to see if they were asleep, you know, and I would like sneak in there and like open the pill bottle, get some out, or sometimes just steal the whole fucking bottle.
Yeah, fuck it.
You know, and I just remember I was getting sick like every single day, like just throwing up multiple times a day, and you know, like passing out, like nodding out, really. And you know, I remember I had burn holes in every single pair of pants and shorts that I own because I just couldn't stop. You know, I was nodding out with a cigarette in my
Straight
hand.
nod squad.
Yeah.
All right. So when you started this routine after your 90 days in jail, Cause that's where you're like, fuck, I mean, I've had enough of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was how did you figure out a fucking routine? Like, was it a sponsor that gave you this, or was it something like a drive inside of you that was like, okay, like when I wake up, the first thing I'm going to do is meditate or pray and get my coffee and like, how important was that routine to you?
It was very important. I don't think I've gone a single day since I've been clean where I haven't done those certain things. There might be like an exception of like a day or two, you know, for whatever reason. But like, I just don't feel quite normal or feel right unless, you know, I do start my day with those certain key things, you know, like soon before I even get out of bed, like I'm meditating. And
now when you say meditate, like some people, when they hear the word meditate, they think they have to sit there Indian style and do the you know what I'm saying? Like what is your meditation like? What is that process like for you?
I mean, every once in a while we'll do the thing.
Yeah. Set that vibration, you know.
Yeah.
There's that vibration of the sound is like, it just clears everything in the body, you know what I'm saying? And it sets the tone. But you know, like sometimes when I meditate, it'll be in different forms, you know, like I'll be driving and it's just a part of meditation for me is like
mindfulness.
Yeah. And it's just coming into the moment and clearing all the thought out of my head and just focusing on like the feeling and the being of my body, you know what I'm saying? Or even when I'm listening to music, I listen to the music, you know, and instead of like thinking and doing this and doing that and multitasking, like it's just like settling down and like coming to myself, I guess. So you start your morning with meditation. What else is your routine like?
Well, I pray.
Okay.
You know, I pray, God, please keep me clean and sober today. I know a lot of people don't like the sober word, but I say it anyways.
Yeah, because we're fucking alcoholics too.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. And then I'll say the third step prayer, the AA third step prayer, and the AA 7-step prayer. You know, and then after that, I got my literature, like my basic text and stuff, and my step work. I got all that stuff right there by my bed. You know, I get these emails for the daily meditation. I read those before I even get out of bed. But you know, like I literally start my day reading about a page or two out of the basic text. And then if I'm on some step work, I'll do a little bit of that, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just helps with getting my mind in the right place, focused on my recovery, you know, but like I try to keep my mind focused on my recovery all throughout the day, you know, like with that 10th step, you know, we continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admitted it. You know, like to me, it's important to be mindful throughout the day of, you know, like my attitude, my thoughts, my actions, my behaviors, you know, like it could, I don't know, man, like because I really don't want to have to make amends. And, you know, like, it's just, man, like I've just gotten to a place to where like I'm willing to do whatever it takes to stay clean, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't really feel like I got that much fucking figured out, you know, like,
do we ever though?
No,
no, we don't.
You're fooling yourself if you do.
Yeah. When the second that you say, "Oh, I got this," like, it's like,
no, you don't.
No, you fucking don't.
No,
you ain't got shit. All you got is right now, you know, that moment. Like, if you can fucking slip any time. And that's, you know, I was reading one of the Just for Today's, I think it was yesterday or something, but it was talking about like, if I relapse, I'm going to die spiritually. And I think that is like my biggest fucking fear, because like I've come so far with gaining that relationship with my higher power. And like, and understanding, like, and I think this is a healthy fear, but understanding that if I relapse or if I go back to that dirtbag lifestyle, what's going to happen is I'm going to be disconnected from that relationship. And it's just going to put up another block and another wall. And it's like, damn, like that relationship to me is the most important relationship, because everything that goes with that relationship with my higher power also develops the relationship with myself. And then it develops my relationship with everyone else that I come in contact with. And so if my spiritual relationship dies, I'm fucked. Like and that is probably the healthiest fear that I have, is dying spiritually again, and then having to recover that relationship, and then recover my recovery and my clean time, and like it scares the shit out of me. And I think that is a healthy fear. You know, some fears are good, but what would you say your healthy fear is?
I would say it's the same exact thing,
Yeah.
man. You know, like I've relapsed in the past. You know,
Yeah.
like I first checked myself into treatment in 2011. That's whenever I really actually wanted to do something different, and that's whenever that was my introduction to NA and working steps and stuff. But you know, I know what it feels like to relapse and experience a spiritual death. That feeling, man, it's probably the worst feeling, man, I've ever felt, is to get clean, start getting some stuff back, gain that relationship with your higher power, just to throw it all away and get high. And it's just the worst feeling.
Yeah.
And that guilt, shame, remorse, anger, you know, isolation, you know, like, cause that's ultimately what I do, is I isolate.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we all do. Yeah. I mean, that's what the fucking addiction does, and the drugs do, is like just causes us to like avoid everybody that is like healthy for us. And like, it just attracts all the fucking dirtbag bullshit back into our life. Like, I can't explain, like, when I was in my addiction, when I was active in my addiction, like the people that were surrounded by me fucking sucked. Like, dude, I would have somebody come over to my house if I had a fucking house. Like, there was times like I lived in a shed, or fucking was just sleeping in wherever the fuck I could get, hotel rooms. And like, I would have people come over, and then every fucking time without failure, when somebody left, I would be missing shit. Like, you know, people stole shit from me, or fucking just took advantage of me. And it's like, you know, now that I look back at that, like, nobody fucking respected me. Everybody respected the drug, because that's all they wanted. But like, how could I fucking want that for myself? How could I respect anybody else if I can't even respect myself? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have no fucking respect for myself, like, I can't ask for anybody else to respect. And like, in the game and in the streets, like, they're like, man, respect and loyalty, man, respect and loyalty. It's like, motherfucker, you don't respect a goddamn motherfucker at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and through this time of me getting clean, and, you know, I got clean by going to prison, and then went through reentry, which was fucking incredible for me, because it just gave me all the tools and resources. But like, now I can look back at it and just be like, damn, like, that is the fucking shit that's how I felt about myself, you know? Like, I didn't give a fuck about myself. I didn't give a fuck about you. I didn't give a fuck about my parents, my family. Like, fuck it all, you know? And now that I'm here, I'm able to have that self-respect, and I can respect others and love others. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to like your breaking point of your addiction. Let's talk about some of the dark shit that had to happen in your life so that you could be incarcerated on that parole sanction and be like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, look what I'm doing to myself. But what brought you to that understanding?
Well, first off, whenever I was in my 20s, my early 20s and stuff, I used to be involved in the music scene. Like I was in some death metal bands that really didn't go anywhere. My best friend, he was our guitarist, and him and a group of other people that we were all friends, like I always hung out with them and I was always getting fucked up with them, well, there eventually came this time, and this is like 2012, where I started, I was buying Roxy's, oxycodone. I bought some, like a bunch of them. I wasn't working. I wasn't selling drugs at this time. I've tried to do that a few times in my life, but I ran out of money. Excuse me. I ran out of money. And this one day I took the last of these Roxy's I had, and I was like, I need more. Like I need to find a way to get more. Because like I have no money. I'm not about to ask nobody for any money because like this shit's expensive. You know what I mean? It's like damn near $30 a pill.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Well, I made a decision to rob this friend of mine.
Genius.
Yeah, because I figured like he's probably at work. He worked at Kroger's at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go drive to his house and see if he's home. And if he's not home, then I'm gonna fucking do this. So I drove to his house and his car wasn't there. So, I found a way into the house, which was I took a rock and I busted out this window that was beside the side door. And I was able to reach in and unlock it. And I went in there and I took every valuable thing he had in his house. And I took it in my car, loaded my car up with his shit. And I even took his drugs he had. He had some pills and some weed, and I took that too, this made me feel like horrible shit for a long, long time afterwards. I was high when I did this, by the way, but that doesn't even excuse that action, that would be the shittiest thing I've ever done to anyone in my entire life. A fucking friend, man. And, so I sold all that stuff, like pawned it, sold some CDs at Hastings and all that. And I had my mom's jacket on and it had her name written on the tag. I took that jacket off in his house so I can, do what I needed to do because I was getting hot, and so I left the jacket in his house with my mom's name on it. And, it was kind of a blur because I was pretty fucked up because I used that money to get more pills and I got some weed. And I just remember going back to his house once he got home and he told me that somebody robbed him. I went literally to his house and just tried to put this act on of being a good friend and like caring and, I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah.
And, and it a little bit later, I guess they found the jacket and they started being able to put two and two together on top of the fact that the next door neighbor was a security guard and had cameras and spot me on his cameras while he was at work. And, so I ended up admitting to it all. I was like, yeah, I did it. This is where I pawned it. This is where I sold your stuff. And, next thing I know, like there's some North Little Rock detectives coming, knocking on my door. And, it eventually led me to getting put into drug court. So,
is this before or after prison?
This is the beginning.
Oh, this is the beginning.
Yeah,
okay.
This is where it all started, man, with the legal stuff.
Okay.
And I could never get my fucking shit together. in drug
Yeah.
court. Like I wanted to, like I've been wanting to
Right.
get clean, but like I cannot stop getting high. Like I do not know how to live life without something, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can't function without something, you know, like I don't
Right.
know how to deal with my feelings, you know, and so like there's that overpowering obsession to use something to try to change how I feel because I'm so fucking uncomfortable in my own skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I for years I do not like my fucking self, you know, like I'm very self-conscious, like I'm self-conscious of my weight, the way I just everything about me, you know, like I completely lack self-acceptance. So I just kept getting high, man, you know, using against my own will, like, which is the definition of powerlessness, you know?
Yeah.
And I ended up being in and out of drug court, and she sent my ass down like 4 times. And the last time I ended up absconding, and she ended up sentencing me to 6 years, and I did about 15 and a half months. But you know, like not even that was enough to make me stop getting high, you know, like, cause I ended up doing it again. But like what led me up to the point where I'm at now and getting clean was, so like I had a period of clean time from 2019 to the beginning of 2020. Excuse me. And, I ended up like a big problem of mine is women. You know, like they're not the fucking problem.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
me,
It's
you know, my
definitely us.
relation with women.
Yeah.
And I found this one girl, and she wasn't good for me, man. Like, and I knew it. Like, there was some red flags that she's probably getting high, and I probably shouldn't mess with her, you know. But yet I did, and I was trying to hide it from my sponsor. Like I was being shady with it, and then like the day after, like I did that, I fucking relapsed. I was working at Edwards Cash Savers, and like I just remember like it just came up on me, man. Like where I just wanted to get high, and you know, like I didn't do nothing about it. Like I knew the solution would be to like talk to some people, talk to my sponsor, and you know, get my ass to a meeting once I got off work, you know. But I was like, fuck it, man. I'm ready to get high. And so I did. And, you know, I ended up being in a relationship with that girl I was talking about. And it was just sick, man.
Toxic as
fuck. It was
fuck.
so toxic. And, you know, I resented her. I had built this huge resentment towards her over the course of 2020, because we were together for about 10 months. And, you know, I wanted to blame her for pretty much everything in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like I knew it was my own fault.
Yeah. But it's way easier to blame other people.
It is.
And everything else.
Like, well, she's not working. She's not doing nothing except making TikTok videos while I'm at work. I'm doing everything. You know, I was always angry and upset about something all the time. And then, you know, like, I never like hit her. But like there were times where, you know, I put my hands on her and I just wanted to, you know, like, cause I was so fed up, but I could not get out of that relationship. I could not stop getting high, you know, like I've just felt stuck. I felt powerless, you know. The whole thing is just like, it's like, fuck, you know, but I did this. And this relationship, man, like we started living at this house where like this guy who owned this piano moving business, and he tuned pianos too. Like we lived at his house, and he had this, he moved her in there initially because he saw her panhandling on the side of the road, and he thought she was attractive. And, you know, so
ulterior motives.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So he moved her in, but like shortly after she moved in, you know, I come back into the picture, and I ended up moving in once I relapsed, because I was living at a Kim Free house, and I was like, I can't live at this place if I'm getting fucked up.
Right.
Because eventually, I don't know, I felt dirty about it. So I moved in there, and
again, a dirtbag with morals.
Yeah.
We always have morals.
Yeah. Some sort of morals.
Yeah. Some line there. Yeah.
But yeah, man. I realized that, he with his remarks and stuff, like he liked her, and like, I'm a jealous motherfucker. Like, mainly really when I'm using, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so fucking insecure.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be controlling and shit, but in a fucking sense, like, I am kind of being controlling, and like, I just distrustful as fuck, and like, I just always was thinking like, she's fucking cheating on me. She's doing something. She's going to do something, and it became this obsession, and which ended up becoming a resentment where I fucking despised her and hated her. But like, fast forward through the bullshit, like, like the fucking crazy fights and stuff, which ended up us getting kicked out of there and moving into my dad's house, to the crazy fucking fights there that ended up with us going to a hotel in Jacksonville, and to fucking getting fights there. Eventually, like, we moved to Sherwood, and the very first day we moved to Sherwood, there were these two couples living there too. And we decided to celebrate with some alcohol. And we did, we drank, and like, we ended up getting into another fucking argument over something so stupid, but it just all came out, man. Like, everything that I've just been kind of pushing down inside me, like, it just all came out, like, how I felt. Like, I told her how I felt, and it ended with me like just really wanting to choke her to death. And so, like, I'm not gonna hit her, so like, what I did was I took her arm and I bit her on the arm like a lunatic.
Okay.
So yeah, so like, at that point I was like, I got out of the car and I went back into the house, and I was like, put on some music, and I was starting to break up some weed, and next thing I know, my roommate is at the door and is like, the police are here, and it's Sherwood, so you're probably going to jail. So, I did go to jail.
Yeah, because Sherwood police, they don't
fuck around.
Yeah, not at all.
Now, you fuck around in Sherwood, you're going to find out,
real quick.
So I did. I went to jail, and, I was like, well, maybe, maybe I won't have to do a PV on this, like, I was being hopeful, but like, I went to court, and they gave me a year in probation over this shit, and
which was domestic
battering.
Domestic battering.
Yeah, it was a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And I had to do these classes, 20 something weeks of these classes.
God.
And it made me feel like shit. I was like, I don't beat women though.
Yeah.
But in some sense, I guess it kind of is, that's abusive, being abusive.
Yeah, that's what we do, is we justify that shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like, there's motherfuckers out there, like, really putting their hands on women and beating these women. And it's like, what I did, I just pushed her. Like, where I just bit her.
Yeah. And that's the opposite of like who I wanted to be.
Right.
Because, like, that's like how my dad was, when I was a kid growing up. And like, I always said, like, I won't ever treat somebody like he treated us growing up. And I kind of did, like that was abusive. And, so, like, that period in jail, man, like, when I first got there, I remember smoking some weed, and I was abusing Seroquel to just sleep, get a head change and get some sleep, because that's all you want to do in jail is sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep your time away.
Yeah.
And, and really, like, I just kind of had a moment of clarity while I was in jail, and I was just like, I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of these ending up in this same situation time after time after time, and cause like before that, like I have had periods of time where I was in recovery and my life was getting better, and I started gaining things. And the best thing that I could gain though was like this inside, like that, like you were talking about your relationship with a with a higher power and everything, that connection. Because I think that's really what we've been seeking our whole life is connection.
Right.
You know,
right. Absolutely.
Connection. And,
absolutely.
So,
well, that connection gives us a purpose. You know, it motivates us to do something different. And like, whether that's a family member or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or relationship with higher power or whatever it is. And that's really what we're seeking. Cause that relationship with that drug or alcohol, that's a relationship, you know, sure. And then that's a connection. It's like, fuck, well, this makes me feel this way. And I would say that is a good definition of a connection, like making you feel something. And like, and people do that, you know, like, I mean, that's the only reason I want a relationship with anyone is because they make me feel a certain type of way.
For sure.
And so that connection is very important, but also it gives purpose. And when, I think when you have a purpose that you're living towards, it drives you to act a certain way, think a certain way, do certain things, or even manipulate, you know, so. But yeah, I think you're right on that. The connection is fucking the most important part. Yeah. So you came to that understanding, you know, by sleeping a lot and just having fucking shit not work out. And then you were able to kind of gain a little bit about it through recovery, like have things go good for you. When the things were going good for you, do you think that you saw that things were going good and then you self-sabotaged that again? Or why did you think you kept relapsing? Just because you couldn't quit? Or was it more of the connection that you didn't have with yourself?
That's a good question. You know, I don't know how to handle success. Maybe at this point I do.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like it's just difficult, man. Like I got this thing inside of me, man. And, it just, I got a disease and I'm always going to have this disease. And, you know, like it starts off like the relapses, they start off, by my behaviors and, you know, like, my inability to live life on life's terms, you know, like I even in recovery, you know, like being clean, like I'm still using things outside myself to try to fix me, to make me whole. And, you know, and I still do that today, you know, like with food and stuff, you know, sex, you know, but like in the past, man, like I relapsed because like, you know, like, it's hard, man. I don't even know like why I freaking relapsed. It just like, I had reservations, I guess, you know, like I had reservations. Like I've always, you know, like drugs and alcohol, man, like my relationship with them, it's like being in a damn toxic relationship, you know, like I love her, but she's no good for me. You know, and like it's this back and forth kind of relationship, you know, where, you know, like we're together for a little while and then it gets so fucking bad that we end up breaking up. But then, you know, I'm mourning after her and, you know, eventually we get back together and, you know,
make up sex and everything else.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and,
that feeling.
And it just had to take what it had to take to the point to where it was just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like, I can't do it. Like, I love the effects of drugs and alcohol. I'm not going to sit here and fucking lie. I like all drugs. Like, I like the way they make me feel. And like, probably if I can get high without the fucking consequences, I probably would.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
But I can't. Like, I can't. Cause like, I will fuck my life plumb off if I got fucking high right now. Like, it would fuck me off and I'm going to lose every fucking thing I have right now.
Yeah.
And like the material shit, I mean, whatever. But like, I don't want to lose me. You know, I don't like all the fucking progress that I made up to this point. Like, I do not want to lose that. You know, like for the first time in my entire fucking life, I pretty much I love me. I like who I am. Like, I don't have to try to be anything different than who I am. Like, I have done that before, like putting these fucking fake ass masks on, trying to fit in with people and whatever, you know, but like, fuck all that. Like, I don't have to do that. And if people don't like me, you know, like, I'm not going to act like I don't care what people think. Cause like, I think every fucking body does
you're
to
lying
some
if you
extent,
don't.
you know what I mean? But like, I don't have to place my fucking value and worth off what other people think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their opinions are their opinions, but their opinions can make you have your own opinion about yourself. But so it is important to be accepted by others, but I think it starts with accepting yourself for who you are and finding that self-love and that self-worth, and then carrying that on, not necessarily as like a mask, but being able to be comfortable with yourself, then others can start accepting that and who you are. And then they like the real you. And then you don't have to fucking remember who you were around somebody and fucking act that certain way. And that's a fucking chore. Like that's hard. It's like telling a lie and then trying to remember that lie and tell that same lie 10 different ways to 10 different people and keeping up with all that shit. Like, it's fucking exhausting, you know? But, so cool. So what advice would you have for somebody that is trying to get clean? Cause like, you know, I hear people when I talk to people, I have people ask me like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get clean. I'm trying to get sober right now. And it's like, well, fucking quit trying, you know, just fucking do it. Like
Yoda says,
like, like I was talking to somebody this morning and they were like, yeah, I'm going to quit drinking after today. And it's like, it sounds good, bro. Like
after today,
that fucking sounds good. You know, like
always tomorrow.
Like I've only got a half a bottle left. It's like, okay. Yeah.
Tomorrow never comes.
Yeah. Man. Tomorrow never fucking comes. So what advice can you give the suffering addict or suffering alcoholic to stay motivated to actually carry this on and take that first step?
Take that first step into recovery?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, like seek help. You know, seek help. Like I remember times when, you know, like I was trying to get into treatment or whatever, and you know, it was always pushing it off till tomorrow, always tomorrow, you know what I mean? But like, it's never going to change until I took that first step and I sought help of some sort. You know, like not everybody has to go to treatment or get locked up to get clean.
Right.
But like, that's the first step, is getting fucking clean. You know what I mean? Getting clean, sober, whatever, you know, and getting your mind cleared up just enough to where like you can start to, you know, do something different, man. You know, like I've been there, you know, like, I've been in that place where I could not fucking stop. No matter how bad I wanted to, like I could not stop myself from picking up that bottle, picking up those pills, picking up whatever it was, you know, like, so, you know, like really it's my best advice is just to go get help, you know, like be willing to go to any lengths, because like this is your fucking life on the line. This is your life. Like, what do you want with your life? Do you want to keep fucking yourself off and living the way that you've been living? Like, cause like it's going to always ultimately end up with you, dead, in jail or an institution of some sort, prison, or fucking insane. You know what I mean? Like it's ultimately going to fucking destroy you. Like everybody, you know, like I've never seen a successful fucking drug addict live their entire life happy, successful, and die of old fucking age using. Like it just doesn't work out like that, you know, but it's just, you know, like it takes what it takes, you know, like sometimes people like will get clean that first time, and they'll stay clean the rest of their fucking lives.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes people will get clean and they'll be in and out of the program, you know, like with relapses and stuff. God knows how many times, but you know, like, and sometimes they never get it, but sometimes they do, you know, like, and I've seen all that, you know, and the key to like recovery, really, it to me, it's like willingness, like they say the how of the program: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. But willingness, man, is really like the key.
Yeah.
Like, and that's really, you know, like that, it was willingness, a lack of willingness, which is why I kept relapsing, because I wasn't willing to do certain things that would have kept me clean. You know,
Right.
like I wasn't willing to, you know, like pick up the phone and reach out for help. I wasn't willing to do this. I wasn't willing to do that. You know, like, what are you willing to do? You know, like,
and it's fucking difficult to do that sometimes.
It is.
It's like some days, like, I'm like, okay, well, life is just life right now, and like everything is going okay. I mean, I'm not talking about like great or real horrible or anything traumatic happened to me that day. But like, I'm starting to understand I still have to call my sponsor on those days and talk to him about my fucking day. Like, just talk to him, because the more that I open up and become more willing and open-minded, like, some shit will come up in a conversation, be like, well, I didn't even fucking stop to think about that, you know? But it's difficult to get into that routine of just calling somebody or opening up about what happened in your day. And I think the more that we look back on, like, say at the end of the day, we make that phone call and somebody asks you, so how was your day? And like, it's real easy to just be so like, oh, it was good, you know? But the more that and I can only speak for myself, like, I open up about that day. Well, I went to work, you know, I woke up this morning and I made some coffee and I did my prayer and meditation and I read my devotion for the day. And then I rushed to work. And like, the more that I play back that day, it's like, okay, well, this is where I kind of like could have improved. Like, if you don't keep score, then you never know if you're winning, you know? And I think that part of reaching out to somebody and talking to them about that's really just keeping the score of what you're doing. Because like, there's no fucking way I'll ever like be able to journal everything that I fucking did that day or that week, you know? But when I talk about it, it just kind of gets that shit off of my chest. Yeah. And it's just, and that's therapy for me as an addict, you know? And I think that is such an important tool to use to stay clean and stay in the recovery and be productive with life. Because we can quit doing drugs and we can quit drinking alcohol and quit all these different unhealthy addictions. But if we don't do anything with that, then I guess that's where the term like a dry addict or a dry alcoholic comes. Because if we don't progress in with our life is still going to stay fucking shitty. But I mean, the consequences might not be as deep as it was when we were in active addiction. But still, if we're not fucking trying to grow and become knowledgeable about who we are, then we still never learn about ourselves. We don't develop that self-love or that security of who we are. It's still, it's always progressing. And it's like, you know, life is the journey. Like, there's no destination that we're ever going to reach, unless that is we pass and we go on to the next life or whatever, die or whatever term we want to use. But we stay focused and we stay in the program, because that program is what really helps us grow and move forward. But so is there anything else that you kind of want to share to everybody watching or listening right now that you think could be helpful? Any tools, tips, or resources you want to shout out to?
Yeah. Don't believe everything you fucking think. You know what I mean? I don't believe everything you think, you know, like, they say this is a disease of perception, like oftenly pretty much every fucking day, like how I see things and my thinking is distorted as a result of having this disease of addiction. And, like things are often nowhere near as bad as I perceive them to be. Whenever I am going through shit, like, there's always things that I can do, like to help me get through whatever it is I'm going through, and like the best tool that I have found literally is like picking up the phone and talking to somebody. Like, every day I talk to my sponsor, and I try to make an extra effort to reach out to other recovering addicts besides my sponsor throughout the week.
Yeah.
I slack on that sometimes, but I never slack on talking to my sponsor every single fucking day, and I don't bottle shit up, like, because, a big part of the reason big part of it was, to try to change the way I felt, to escape reality, and like, as long as I share like my shit with somebody, I don't feel the need so much to change how I feel, because I get relief whenever I share. And also, like another thing that helps me get out of my head, get me out of myself, is doing service work, like, that could consist of many different things. It could be like something like this. It could be like doing H&I. It could be just, like talking to somebody on the phone that's going through some shit, and just trying to help somebody, like chairing meetings, like making the coffee at meetings or picking up the trash outside, like just finding ways to be of service. Like that has helped me considerably. I always feel better, whenever I'm doing something like that. And, cause like the core of the disease is self-obsession, self-centeredness, selfishness, like from those things stem all of our character defects. So, like whenever I'm getting out of self, like that, I don't know, man. It's just like, that's whenever I feel that connection, that wholeness, like I feel I'm living my purpose, and, and I can start to care for people and love other people and think less of myself. And, and that's the goal, is like, I want to be this person that, is like, I want to be a good person. I am a good person. Like in there, I am a good person. But like, if I don't do certain things for my recovery each day, that 10th step's very fucking important. They're all important. Like I can be applying pretty much all the steps in my life, the principles of the steps every single day. And I need to really be making that effort to try to do so. Like it says in the NA basic text that never have we seen an addict relapse that lives the Narcotics Anonymous program, and it's like, we don't do this shit perfectly. Like we never will. I just do the best that I can each and every day to apply what I've learned into my life. And, like I am a reasonably happy person, like I struggle plenty. Don't get me wrong. But like, I have tools that I've gained from the program that help me get through all this shit, and like, I don't need to, like use something outside myself to try to change the way I feel, like, so the thing is like, I've done all kinds of crazy shit, and and just look where I'm at now, what I mean? So like, I'm not that special. So like, like anybody can do this, you're capable of it, like, I just, that's one thing I never like really lost was hope, like I knew like that, I was capable of, being, staying clean and having a better life. It was just, it just took what it took to finally get me to a place where I was willing to do what was necessary to get where I'm at today.
Yeah. So this question kind of came up that I had earlier, but do you think there comes to a point where there's no point of return for an addict or alcoholic? Do you think somebody can get so lost that there's no hope? Or do you think there's always some kind of hope out there for somebody. Cause like I know that there's been times in my active addiction where I was like, fuck, man, I'm just done. It's fucking over with. And like, I lose all hope and like, it's just fucking over. But like, do you believe that somebody can always reach out and there's always going to be a connection there that's available for whoever's suffering or whoever's just thinks that it's fucking over? Because suicide is fucking it's fucking higher than it's ever been, I think, right now in the world. And it's because there's so much shit going on. But do you think there's always a level of hope that can save somebody if that's what they truly want?
For sure. You know, there is cases where like, you know, you become a vegetable.
Yeah.
You know, or you but yeah, man, like there's always hope. You know, there's, you know, it's just being willing to reach out for help, man.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, we have to do that. Like if we feel so lost and just like there is no fucking hope, just reach out to somebody.
Even if it's
I mean, like there's been points in my life where like I've like just looked up and just cursed God, like said every foul word with every bit of anger, and just been like, why? What the fuck? Like, why would you do me like this? And I mean, just fucking livid and fucking angry. And it's crazy that every time you get an answer, like, it's like, you feel it. Like, it's like, okay, fuck. Like that felt better to reach out and just cuss at somebody or, you know, just let that emotion out. And if it is your higher power that you reach out to, do that. Follow it up with another human being and reach out for that connection, because like, you know, there's always hope. You know, we agreed on that.
Yeah.
And that hope comes through that connection, like we talked about earlier. And that connection is not going to happen unless you're willing. Mm-hmm. And once you become willing and you start to reach out to somebody, and we're not talking about reach out to another drug addict. I mean, you can, like an active addict, you know what I'm saying? But reach out to somebody that has some kind of hope inside them as well. I mean, I guess you could reach out to an active addict and that might work, but I know it never fucking worked for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more I hung out with active addicts, the deeper my fucking addiction got. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more I used. If I went over and I was having all kinds of problems, went and talked to my homeboy that's sitting there about to fucking do an 80 unit bump, you know, I'm going to end up doing an 80 unit bump. But the more that I started reaching out and I started separating those people away from my life, my connection with the people that were doing what I wanted to achieve, that shit started happening in my life. It's like their energy started flowing into me, and then that hope became stronger and stronger and stronger. But so become willing, reach out, find that connection with your higher power, find that connection with somebody else that supports what you're trying to achieve, which would be getting clean or sobriety or whatever the fucking term is that we want to use. And then stay in it. But what I'm hearing from you is that, like, the most important part of staying in the recovery is stay grounded in this moment for today and become willing and do whatever it is that it takes to be clean and to change that lifestyle. And because you don't have to change your entire fucking life today.
No.
You just have to change today, like this moment right now, and make that decision to be clean. Yeah, and then don't beat yourself up if you fucking relapse. You know, just reach out again, because there's always hope. There's never a point of no fucking return.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, like when they relapse, you know, they feel ashamed to come back in.
Yeah.
And they think people are they're judging them or
Yeah.
whatever, you know. And it's like, I never do I look down at someone when they relapse, you know, like the shame is to not come back, to not try again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To give up.
To give up,
Yeah.
you know, like most people have fucking relapsed in their recovery, you know.
Yeah.
It is, you know, I'm not going to say it's not okay to relapse. Like,
Right.
it's not an okay thing to do, but like, don't beat yourself up so hard. Like, give yourself some grace, you know, like, and I had to learn to give myself some grace in recovery, you know, like I made a lot of mistakes since I've been clean this time, you know, but like I had to learn to really like be easy on myself, but not give myself permission to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. You know, like recovery is progressive. Like the disease of addiction, which is still inside me, is progressive as well. And it's still progressing, but like my recovery is progressive. Like that's what recovery is, just like, it's an uphill fucking journey. You know what I mean? Like we continue moving forward. Like, and if you're not moving forward, obviously you're going back downhill.
Yeah. Your momentum's gone.
But like, just because like, we have like emotional and spiritual lapses, like you're going to fucking experience it in recovery. Like just because you have that does not mean you're going to fucking relapse physically by drugs and alcohol, you know, like it's not necessary, you know, like when you do start to experience those emotional and mental spiritual relapses, you know, like do something about it. You know what I mean? Like that should be like that cue and that motivation to kind of like, all right, what do I need to look at? What needs to change? You know, what can I do? And really, man, a lot of it's simple shit. Yeah. You know, just the basics.
Yeah. It's all pretty simple if you just fucking do it. You know, like we like to make shit complicated and make shit really hard. And it's like, oh, this is fucking impossible. Yeah. But the second that we just kind of put a little bit of fucking effort into doing that one thing, like we don't have to do everything at once. We just have to make one step at a time, and like it becomes easier to accomplish. And it's like, okay, that wasn't that fucking hard.
No.
Like all I had to do is pick up the phone. Okay, fucking dial it. And then when it's ringing, it's like, oh fuck. You know, it's like, oh shit, like it's happening, you know, and it's kind of nerve wracking, but just take that effort, quit trying to do shit and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing. And absolutely, I
appreciate you letting me come up on here.
Yeah.
Share my
I definitely wanted to have you on. You know, I've heard you talk a few times, at different meetings and stuff like that, and coming in and doing H&I, and so I was very excited to have kind of reach out to you and have you come on and share more of that experience, because sometimes it's limited when you go and do an H&I meeting and you can't really share everything that you want to share or talk the way you want to talk or things like that. So I definitely was wanting to have you come on to be open and just share all that shit with us. And I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, bro. Well, this wraps up episode 5 of the Dirtbag Chronicles. We hope you enjoyed the show. And we want to tell you, if you are struggling with addiction, reach out. You can message us on our Facebook page, leave a comment on YouTube, just call somebody, just reach out and make that connection with somebody. We send you our love and our peace and our light, and we thank you for all your support. Thank you. Have a good day.